welcome all of you to my lecture session on chemistry of vitamin B12. In history, in 1824, Dr. James Cap Combe first described the detailed signs and symptoms of anemia. In 1855, Thomas Edison described an idiopathic anemia, and he has quoted it as a disease which presented in every instance in the same general character, pursued a similar kind of course, and with scarcely single exception was followed after a variable period by the same fatal result. So in that period, pernicious anemia is one of the most dreadful disease which ultimately ended up in fatality. In 1872, Anton Bremer in Zurich coined the term pernicious anemia. German pathologist Paul Ehrlich first developed a technique for blood staining, and then with this he identified the presence of megaloblasts in or abnormally large red cells in the blood samples of patients. And James Russell and others showed that demyelination of spinal cord is one of the peculiar outcome of observations that they made in the postmortem features of many patients with pernicious anemia. George Whipple, George Minor, and William Murphy. These three physicians worked on finding a cure for pernicious anemia. So here what they discovered is they found an extract from liver which actually successfully cured pernicious anemia. So for their discoveries concerning liver therapy in cases of anemia, Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded in 1934. Dr. William Castle, a physician, while working on echlorohydria, in case of echlorohydria, what the doctors used to find is the patient suffers parallelly from pernicious anemia also. So he thought like there is something really serious about the gastrointestinal tract and it has some relation with the pernicious anemia. So what he did is he found a combination. He studied with the food materials, and what he found is while working on echlorohydria, he found like some kind of extrinsic factor present in food and the activity of the stomach as the intrinsic factor. So both these factors are very important for maintenance of our health. So missing either one of them actually resulted in this problem, pernicious anemia. So that is what is there. What was their conclusion? A team of researchers led by Karl Focus isolated anti-pernicious anemia factor from liver extracts in 1948 and named them as vitamin B12. The extraction procedure from liver is one of the most challenging as far as natural product isolation is concerned. The second one is the yield is very less because from 1 ton of liver you may hardly get 20 milligrams of pure vitamin B12. So fortunately, Karl Fockers could isolate it and then crystallized. So some other scientists could actually perform elemental analysis. Brink et al. Were first to carry out elemental analysis, reporting composition like this: C61 to 64, H86 to 92, N14, O13, PCO. CO means cobalt. So here, in case of carbon and hydrogen, they couldn't accurately measure the number of atoms. As you can see, so many carbon atoms are there. As you increase the number of carbon atoms and increase molecular weight, error will also increase, because in case of elemental analysis, on an average you will have approximately 0.4% error will be there. So that's why there will be a confusion arises uh, if you go from low molecular weight to high molecular weight, and this itself is a challenging task. So scientists could not could not perform the degradative study analysis for vitamin B12, and hence it remained unsolved for quite some time. Dorothy Hodgkins, the X-ray crystallographer, the scientist who actually is an expert in X-ray crystallography, solved the puzzle. So she took the no, the crystals, vitamin B12 crystals, and then analyzed it by using X-ray crystallography, and she found the 3D structure of vitamin B12. which surprised almost everybody. So for her contributions for X-ray crystallography in general and vitamin B12 in particular, Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded to her in 1964. Professor Dorothy Hodgkins is behind the success of so many natural products and so many Nobel Prizes. So let's see the structure. So here, in case of uh, vitamin B12, the kind of ring structure that we have over here looks more like porphyrin ring, but here one carbon less. Okay, in case of porphyrins, you will have one more carbon like this. So double one will be there. Okay, it is like this. The remaining substitutions they alter, but they remain almost the same, and with this extension. So this entire extension is also different. So that's why we call this type of structure as carbamide structure. And then here the scientists found like four different types of vitamin B12 analogs are there. One is, this is the most active, 4,5-deoxyadenosyl cobalamin, or we call it as coenzyme B12. And then if you change this substitution, that X part, okay, so this is what we call the X is replaced by methyl, we call it as methyl cobalamin. If you replace it with hydroxy group, we call it as hydroxycobalamin, or if you replace it with cyanide, it is what we call it as cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is what you will find in most of the multivitamin tablets or syrups, because this is of highest stability, chemical stability. Vitamin B12 is called as one of the most beautiful structure as far as natural products are concerned. Biological significance of vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is essential for us. Vitamin B12 is usually presented as cyanocobalamin. This unnatural form of cobalamin is more chemically stable than natural occurring cobalamins. That's why we use it as a nutrient supplement. Cyanocobalamin is used for dietary supplements and is taken up by the living cells and converted this one into biologically active coenzyme forms like methylcobalamin or deoxyadenosyl cobalamin. Methionine synthase contains methylcobalamin as the prosthetic group and functions in methionine biosynthesis. And then this one, ADOB-B12 or otherwise deoxyadenosyl cobalamin functions as a coenzyme for methylmalonyl coenzyme A mutase, catalyzing isomerization of R-methylmalonyl coenzyme A to succinyl coenzyme A in the catabolism of amino acids and odd chain fatty acids metabolism in mammalian cells. So friends, these are the various stages where vitamin B12 plays a crucial role. This is also considered as growth factor. So it is regarded as essential growth factor for children. Children have got high metabolic rate, so therefore they are in need of larger amounts of this vitamin. So during the pregnancy, the serum levels of vitamin B12 falls in spite of the higher assimilation. The probable reason being major part of it goes into the fetus. Okay, so vitamin B12 supplementation is needed, and advanced age diseases arise because of continuous or gradual loss of vitamin B12 from their body. Okay, so and also in case of alcoholism, diabetes and malnutrition gradually give rise to neuropathies. So one of the reason for that is also lack of vitamin B12. So friends, this is the significance of vitamin B12, and the structural elucidation actually is one of the toughest challenges as far as natural product structural elucidation is concerned. And this is the way how vitamin B12 came into being. So friends, if you like this video, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I'll come back to you with another very interesting lecture soon. Thank you for your time.